Hey guys, Brian and Aaron here from 5 to Go. We're in a new rig.
Surprise!
Not really a surprise. You guys probably saw the short from a few weeks ago. We've been in this for almost a month now.
Uh-huh.
But in order to get this, we had to jump through some hoops and sell our old rig. So what we're talking about today is the process of selling our old rig and some advice we have for you guys when it comes to selling an RV, and more specifically, selling an RV that you have done some work to or some modifications to, because it didn't all work out like we thought it would.
You know when you buy a house and you fix it up and you change the kitchen and you add some new things to the bathroom and it kind of adds some value to your house when you go to sell it in a couple of years or 10 years or 20 years or whatever. In an RV, it's not always a good thing. Like when you do modifications to make it more you and more your home, you might paint things, you might put up tile, you might take off the valances, things like that. It's not always what other people want in an RV.
Yeah, and a lot of newer RVs. Let's talk about paint. Okay. We did not paint.
No.
We know several people that have painted because historically, RVs have been a little cramped and dark and heavy woods and dark wall colors and dark furniture color. You see where I'm going with this.
Right.
So a lot of people that we know, and a few that we love very dearly, have completely repainted the inside of their RVs mostly white. Or, some we've seen blues and grays and greens, but it's brighter colors.
Absolutely.
Now, if you've been to an RV show in the last year or two, you will notice there are brighter colors coming onto the market. However, we are not the target demographic. By we, I mean, 20, 30, 40-somethings.
We're not 20 or something.
But we are not really the target demographic of the RVs that have been on the market until recently.
Right.
So, if you're going to paint your RV, you are almost definitely going to have to sell private party. Because a dealership, we've heard from people that have painted their RVs, dealerships don't want to touch them. They don't want to have anything to do with it because they're going to have a hard time selling it to the general RV demographic. Right. Now, newer RVs are getting brighter. I think the whole industry is kind of shifting towards brighter, lighter, more airy, bigger windows, more just nicer, brighter stuff. But they're coming that way from the factory, so all of that's covered by warranty and yada, yada, yada.
And it'll probably look better than if we had painted it white, because we are terrible at fine detail.
I would never paint the inside of an RV. There's too many materials. There's too many nooks and crannies and wood.
It's attention to detail. It's just not. That's not our bag.
Give me a roller and I can paint a bedroom in a house in an hour. But I would never even touch an RV.
No.
So if you're gonna do something as drastic as that,
just know you're not going to get a return on investment in that, probably.
Unless you find, if you list your rig on RV Trader, you take beautiful photos, or if you have a channel or Instagram or whatever, and you find another family or someone that is looking for that, you'll be fine. But if you're selling to a dealership,
they're not going to like it.
Yeah. So, moving on from that, balances.
Yeah. If you have been with us, you know that we take valances off.
We are the leaders of the Anti-Valance Coalition.
Until now, but yes, we'll get back to that. But yeah, so the first thing we did was take the valances out of the bounder.
Literally the first thing.
Yeah.
I got that bounder back to where we were in Colorado, and actually it was on my birthday in 2020. You ripped all the valances off.
All of them off.
Holy moly, it looked so much better.
It did, because it gave us more window space and whatnot.
But this much window.
Again, no attention to detail, and we didn't really care. We didn't fill holes, because I didn't have the wallpaper to redo the walls, and we weren't going to paint the walls. So there were just holes in the walls, and we didn't care.
Yep.
But that was one of the major things that the dealership that bought our bounder had a problem with.
So let's hit pause real quick. We did have to sell to a dealership. That was because of the timing.
Yes.
We found this. We've been looking for a 44B, a Fleetwood Discovery LXE 44B. We were looking for this floor plan and this floor plan alone for several months.
And in this year, because the next year up, they flipped the sides of all of this.
Kitchen's over there. We'll talk about that more on the tour that's coming soon. But we were looking for this floor plan specifically, and we were just kind of trolling RV Trader and just keeping an eye on Facebook groups and yada, yada, yada. We found this rig in Minneapolis. which we had no intentions of going to,
No.
especially in October.
No.
So
and we were in Utah.
And we were in Utah. We were planning on going south. And it's a big
whole thing.
It's a thing. So we booked it up to Minneapolis, and we got into this, and we basically had 2 days to move out of the Bounder and into this and leave Minneapolis because we had to be somewhere else 800 miles away 2 more days after that.
To help with the refrigerator.
Which you did see. So we did not have time to sell the Bounder private party. And we would have liked to, because we know that we would have gotten more from it.
Yes.
And we would have gone to someone that we know probably. But it wasn't in the cards. It's just not the way it worked out. If we had tried to drive both RVs from Minneapolis, all the way back down to Florida for the winter, we would have spent as much money getting the Bounder down there as we probably lost on the sale. So it
all worked out. It's been done. It's what's happened. But
so they give us crap about not having balances.
Yes.
And I was on the, how they do that stupid thing where they go talk to the money guy and they disappear for 5 minutes and they're probably just back there having coffee and then they come back and they're like, well, I can do this.
And then you're like, no, we want you to do this. Yeah. Okay, let me go call a different guy who's not here, and on the phone I'll call him.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
So anyway, one of their items was
no
that
balances.
There were no balances. And I was like, that's BS. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to walk in there and be like, oh man, I wish they had boxy carpets around all the windows. Because that's what was in there. And
if that's what you like, what you like. Let me know down in the comments if that's the thing that you like. But
let me know in the comments if you are part of the anti-balance coalition. I will get you a badge.
You're making badges now. Oh my
Fake
goodness.
digital badges.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, balances, we took that off. That was a permanent thing because we basically had to destroy some of them to get them out. We didn't store them. We didn't take them with us. We did originally remove the roller shades, but we kept those with us. And we actually ended up reinstalling a number of those because
they blocked the sunlight.
They were day-night shades. They actually work really well.
Yeah, they do. So anyway, so we had those on there, but we didn't have the balances. They nicked us for that.
Yeah.
So we also put behind the bed. Brian surprised me with it. You can go back and watch that video if you want to see us putting it in.
See me putting it in.
Well, yes. Behind the bed, we did the peel and stick wallpaper, and it had started to fade a little bit, so I was going to peel it off, so it was just what it was before. But there was a little bit of stickiness to it, and I didn't have time to do some Goo Gone to take it all off.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got dinged for that at all. They didn't mention it, but
yeah. I don't think we did because it looked fine. There were a couple little faded spots, but I think it was fine.
Yeah.
We did a couple other things. We did some stick-on tiles in the bathrooms, and I'm actually kind of curious to see if they care. Do they go through and pull that stuff off?
Yeah, I want to find it on RV Trader or something to see if it pops up.
Yeah, and I'm actually doubly curious because we've spent a lot of time going in RVs, and we've been in a lot of used RVs, sitting on dealership lots.
Yeah.
And you'll open cabinets, there'll be dirt and candy wrapper. You'll just find random stuff. So you're like, how? When we were going to sell it, we're the kind of people where when we sell a house and move out, or if we move out of a rental or whatever, we're cleaning that stuff. It is going
clean.
You are going to be happy to move in. It is going to be perfectly clean when you move in.
Yes.
And that Bounder, when we left it, was perfectly clean. Everything was vacuumed and wiped out. Everything was clean.
I moved everything. I was with toothbrushes cleaning stuff. It was intense.
So if any of you end up going into our Bounder, I don't even know if it's still in Minneapolis, but if you go into that and you find any dirt, that's from them, not from us.
Yeah. It was clean.
So it was clean, and there were a couple things that we put up that we probably could have taken down. I don't know if they cared about that. But I did want to talk about some stuff that we added that we actively spent money on, and we added it to the Bounder. And like she said at the beginning, with houses, you do kitchens and bathrooms, those are kind of the two big ones, and where you'll get probably some or most of your money back on that kind of renovation. We did all of the furniture in the living room. We did a couch, we did a dinette, we did both of the captain's chairs. All of that. Way better than what was in there. Mm-hmm. They didn't care.
But it was the same type of furniture that was in there already. Yeah. So it wasn't like we took out a couch and put in, theater seating or anything like that.
I bet you if we had, at one point we had talked about taking the dinette out and putting my desk there.
Right.
I bet if we had done that, that absolutely would have been a ding.
That would have been a no thank you.
Because what are people expecting in an RV? Somewhere to sit and eat. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to remove that, maybe have somewhere to store the stuff you're taking out.
Right. Yeah, we do have some friends who have completely changed the floor plan of their RV and put like bunk beds where the living room is, and so that's changed how you are setting up the RV. And so I would be curious to know if they tried to sell that, what would be the feedback on that. So.
Yeah. So, and also talking about things that we added to it, that we spent money on, that we felt added value, but ultimately they could not have cared less about. We snap pads, which this video is sponsored by. We absolutely love our snap pads.
Yes.
And we're actually conducting an experiment right now about snap pads. We have not put them on this RV.
Not yet.
Because on the Bounder, we put them on immediately. So there was only one campground where we had issues without them, and then we put them on after that, had them for 2.5 years, absolutely loved them.
Yes.
We are not putting them on this one. It's been a month so far. I think we're going to go for another month, get down to Florida, see how it does.
How it does on the squishies.
I have already made holes in the ground this deep. Because let me tell you, this Mamma Jamma is heavy.
It is. It is.
So, snap pads. If you want snap pads, which you do, and I do, but I'm experimenting for you, 5togo.com/snap pads. You'll get 10% off, and you'll help support us, and you'll have awesome snap pads. It's a win-win-win.
All around.
Go get those. But we had them on the Bounder. They didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't. The dealership was just...
They wouldn't care if we had them on there, if we didn't have them on there. They're not cheap, right? Like the Prime set that we had were like $450.
Yep.
They don't care.
No.
Also, we installed a steering stabilizer. They didn't care.
Nope.
And we installed a Magna shade up on the windshield, which was great. I'm undecided on whether or not to do it on this one. We haven't really been in hot weather. We're still working our way back south, so it hasn't quite been very hot, and we haven't been sitting in direct Florida sun. I'm sure we will end up with them on this rig, but we had them on the Bounder, or we had a Magna shade on the Bounder, and we loved it. They didn't care.
Nope.
Like, again,
like we left it with them, and
that's like a $600, $700 modification. They could not care less.
Nope.
So, if you're going to be doing stuff like this to your RV, just think about the future. If you're going to have your RV for, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, don't care about anybody else. Do whatever you want. You'll deal with it down the road, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're in something maybe for just a year or two and you know that it's just going to be a year or two, maybe just kind of get the stuff that you know you're going to use and you know you're going to love. Like snap pads, we used them every time we set up and they were great. Magna shade kept us cool. Mm-hmm. Steer safe kept us, straight down the road. That sort of stuff was great. The furniture, we think it was a required upgrade because that other stuff was peeling.
Oh, it had to go.
But this furniture here isn't our favorite, but it's nothing wrong with it. Like it's totally fine. The front chairs are real comfortable. Mm-hmm. That couch could be a little more comfortable, but I think we're going to stick with it because it kind of goes.
I also have like a mental block too. If we buy something new, like our first trailer was new, and I was like, we're not changing anything because this is brand new. There's no reason to mess with it. Yeah. The Bounder was a 2016, so I was more like apt to, we had to change the furniture because it was just peeling everywhere.
And the balances, because I didn't want carpet boxes on the wall.
And we took the balances off of the trailer too.
That's true.
But like this is a 2019, so it's still like, it's super new, but it's like fancy new. And it's not as egregious as the other ones. So we'll get into that in the tour. You'll see it, but
that's been a common thing. New stuff is a little harder to modify.
Yeah, I have a hard time modifying new things.
But we do know some people that like something's brand new, they'll like pull it into their garage, completely gut it, and just like do total wacky things, and then it's their own thing, and that's awesome. I love that people can do that.
We have mental blocks against it. Yeah, and again, tiny detailed things. We'll just leave it the way it is. It'll just work better. Are you like that too? Because, are you the people that can just go in and make things look amazing? Like, let me know what you have gone in and changed and stuff, and if it looks amazing and you love it, or if you were like us and you're like, I shouldn't have done that. I love to hear y'all's stories.
So all of that being said, we are looking forward to making this rig a little more customized to us and the way we live and the way, with our 3 kids and all that. So thank you guys for watching this episode. Thank you guys for following us. We're 110,000 subscribers.
Amazing. I can't believe
we just got our play button, and there's a short up that just went up recently of where to put the play button. We don't know where to put it, so go watch that short and vote. There are 3 different places, 3 different walls that I'm pointing at. You can't only see one of them. There's one back there, but there's 2 over here. So go watch that short and vote. and let us know where you think the play button would look the best.
Right.
And then I heard a rumor.
We're going with that? Are you going to make me do
rumor.
something?
I heard a rumor.
What was your rumor?
I heard that there's a tour video coming.
Of this rig?
Could just be a rumor. I don't know. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.